News 46 is brought to you by Golden Casino Group, where you'll always find great fun, good food, and fantastic entertainment, all at Gold Town, Lakeside, and the Pahrump Nugget. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight on News 46, a local woman talks about being attacked.
Nevada Outreach Program is finding creative funding.
And Nevada Public Auction is having a sale. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Deanna O'Donnell and Zach Reinert. News 46, local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Thursday, March 31st, 2016. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Zach Reinert for News 46.
A local woman spoke to News 46 about a man who was trying to break into her home. She thinks the suspect believed the house was still vacant.
My mother's home, it's for sale. It had been vacant, and somebody came and vandalized the home. And Teresa from Cancer Victims and Jessica from Super Scrub were nice enough to come out and help us fix vandalism. My partner and I started staying over there to maybe thwart some people from coming over there and doing that. Earlier in the day, on Thursday, there had been a little stray dog that had been messing with our little dog. And so that evening, I'd put the grandbaby to bed, and we were getting ready to go to bed ourselves, and our little dog started barking, and I assumed it was the stray dog. And I went out to go run it off and came around the corner, and there was a guy at the window. And I hollered at him, and he came at me, and he hit me with something. I don't know what it was, but I'm bruised all across my chest and stomach. And I fell backwards and covered my head because I assumed he was going to continue to swing. But he took off, and my partner came outside a few minutes later and found me laying there and called the police and the ambulance.
So he was trying to actually open a window?
Yes, when the police showed up, they said that they found a screwdriver that was jimmied in the window. Pretty scary. My grandbaby was sleeping in that room.
So there's a description out there right now, right?
The only description I could give him, because it was so dark and it was pitch black, was medium build, a little shorter than I am, and I'm 6'1", so probably 5'10", 5'11", in a dark hoodie. That's the best I could tell him. It
Caucasian?
Was dark. Yeah, he seemed like he was, yes. He wasn't a black man. All I saw was his arm. I guess he could have been Latino, but light-skinned.
And so do you think that he believed that the house was vacant still?
I believe so, because the only lights or things that we had on in the house was the TV, and all of the shades were drawn. And so he probably didn't realize we were in the house.
How close were you when you actually saw him trying to break into the home?
Maybe 25 feet.
Why do you think he attacked you?
I think he felt like he was cornered because he was right there at the corner of the fence and the house and the garage. And I think he came at me to get away.
So you're hoping if anybody has any information, give a call. Did they take any fingerprints off the tools?
They took the screwdriver that night, and they were supposed to send other officers out, but I'm still waiting.
And so if anybody has any information, of course, give a call. Sometimes these suspects discuss what's going on with other people.
Exactly. And also, everybody in that area, please be careful. This is the second home invasion on our street in the last couple of months. Right on Donner, right off of Corbin on the far west side between Charleston Park and Basin.
The executive director of No to Abuse is finding all sorts of ways to keep funding going to help those who are victims of domestic violence.
Of course, Nevada Outreach Training is a grant-funded organization, and so we rely heavily on grants for our funding and to provide salaries for our advocates and those kind of things. And so we have applied for, the first time that I'm aware of, for some federally funded grants, and we're applying at the federal level for those, and have partnered with the county to also provide the county with some salaried positions in the grant that we wrote.
And that's for some of the domestic violence cases to be tried?
It is. As of right now, of course, we have a DA's prosecutor, and we have a prosecutor right now that's funded through the Attorney General's office through the state of Nevada to cover a 3-county range of services specifically for crimes of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking. And that position, we are going to try and fund at least partially through the grant that we're writing.
Do you guys see an increase in these types of crimes?
Oh, of course. Yeah, they're going up. And we don't know if the crime itself is going up or if just the reporting of the crime is going up, because these crimes have been so often not reported.
Exactly. And so will this create a new position or just keep a position that's actually on right now?
It will keep a position that's actually on right now, and it will be with someone who already prosecutes these kinds of crimes. And that's why it's so important that we keep that position, is that we need the prosecutor that's already established in those cases to be able to continue on with them.
And so you're applying for this grant. Any others that that you're applying for right now with Nevada Outreach Program?
I write grants almost year round, so we wrote these federal grants. I believe it's 4 state grants on my desk right now that I should be in my office working on.
Now let's go to your World News Report.
In World News today, there is new hope for potential transplant recipients living with HIV. Doctors at Johns Hopkins announced Wednesday they successfully performed the first liver transplant from an HIV-positive donor and the first U.S. kidney transplant from the same donor. The surgeries happened a couple of weeks ago. The recipients, whose names will remain anonymous, are also HIV positive. The patient who received the donated kidney has been living with HIV for more than 30 years, suffers from hypertension and autoimmune problems, and had been on dialysis. That patient had been on the organ donation waiting list for years. U.S. troops deployed in the fight against ISIS will now receive a medal for their service. Troops serving in Iraq, Syria, or neighboring waters and airspace on or after June 15, 2014 can apply for the Inherent Resolve Campaign Medal, named after the anti-ISIS operation. The medal will be awarded to those who participated in the campaign for more than 30 days. According to the Pentagon, so far 11,000 service members qualify for this medal. The president's executive order authorizing the medal comes after recommendations were made by Defense Secretary Ash Carter and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Joseph Dunford to recognize the increased danger facing service members battling terrorist groups in Iraq and Syria. As of Wednesday, 2 U.S. troops have been killed in combat related to the fight against ISIS since operations began in mid-2014. Starbucks said that they will aim to contribute 100% of leftover food from their 7,000 plus U.S. locations by this time next year, thanks in part to a new partnership with Feeding America, which has a national network of food banks. The idea didn't come from Starbucks corner offices. It came from baristas behind the counter. The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that 30 to 40% of America's food supply is wasted. At the same time, a significant number of Americans go hungry. According to the USDA, 48.1 million, or about 1 in 7 Americans, lived in households in 2014 that at some point during the year were unable or unsure of where to get their next meal. This has been your World News. I'm Monique Mitchell for News 46.
All right, after this break, we'll have your news across Nevada.